Welcome to day 11 of our 14-day Yogalates challenge for lower body strength and pelvic stability. If this is your first day here, check out the comment section down below for more details. And when you're ready, we'll get started right away. Afford yourself a moment to find a comfortable cross-legged seated position. Roll the shoulders back. Placing the palms on the knees, we'll begin to take cat and cow, warming up the cervical region of the spine, the upper back, the mid back, the lower back, and the abdominals. Inhaling, scooping the chest forward, gazing up. Exhale, curling and rounding, contracting the abdomen. Once more. Keeping our right leg crossed, we'll extend our left leg out on an angle as we come into revolved head to knee pose. Flowing with the breath, mindfully guiding the left forearm to the inner seam of that left leg, finding a lovely side body stretch, and returning upright to a seated position. Once more. And this time we'll scoop forward and come into baby wild thing, finding a lovely hip opener. Coming back around, stretching the side body, and again, raising the hips, extending the arm back. Once more. Making this as small or as large of a movement as you like. And when you're ready, we'll get set up to go on the other side, crossing the left leg in, extending the right leg out. First, coming into these side body stretches. If you notice there are any regions of the body that feel a little interesting, you might like to hang out in a certain posture for a little while. Really tune into what feels good. Once more, and we'll take baby wild thing, scooping our chest round forwards, placing the left palm underneath the left shoulder, gazing back, and finding the side body stretch, scooping forward and around, lifting up the pelvis, broadening across the heart space. Finding your rhythm. And when you're ready, working your way upright to a seated position. From here, we'll turn to face the short edge of the mat, coming into a tabletop position on all fours. Knees are hip width distance apart, palms are underneath shoulders, core is engaged. Grounding down through the right leg, we're going to guide our left knee between the chest, gently placing the sole of the foot down between the fingers as we come into a low supported lunge, Skandasana. Really finding length along the posterior chain and being mindful to keep that front knee in line with the ankle. From here, we'll extend the back leg, coming up into a supported high lunge as we pivot around to face the right side of the mat. Coming into extended side angle, the right leg is extended, the foot is parallel with the short edge of the mat, toes facing towards the right side of the room. The front foot is facing forwards, finding a 90-degree angle between that right leg and the surface beneath you. Really squeezing the glutes, the outer hips here to keep you stabilized, and we'll lower ourselves into Skandasana, side lunge. From here, we're going to stay low and transition into Skandasana on the other side, doing your best to squeeze and engage the inner thighs. And we'll take this transition a few more times, really working on lower body strength and stability here. If you need to raise the hips a bit, that is okay. Lean into what feels right for you today. Breathe through any tension. Twice more either side. And from here, we'll set up for extended side angle with the opposite leg in front, coming to face the back of the mat. Really doing your best to turn on the muscles of the lower body and the whole body as we use our core and the upper back to help support us. turning to frame the front foot, coming into a supported high lunge. And we'll mindfully lower that back knee down, feeling a lovely stretch for the hip flexors. Breathe. One more breath. And from here, we will step up into Malasana, heels in, toes out, feeling a lovely stretch for the inner thighs. One breath here. And mindfully lowering the sits bones down onto the mat. Soles of the feet down on the mat, and we'll set up for reverse tabletop or a variation of reverse plank. Finding a hand gesture that works for you. You might like to have your fingertips facing forwards, out to the side, or behind you. Whatever facilitates a greater sense of engagement in the arms without hyperextending the elbows. When you're ready, grounding down through the feet, we're going to raise our hips up off the mat, squeezing the glutes, the inner thighs, and really using the whole back body here to support you. We'll lower the hips down and raise them up. Lower and lift. Lower and lift, just like this. Keeping the arms extended here. This is really coming from the pelvis, the lower body. Seeing if you can relax the muscles of the face. Release any tension along the neck. Really using the palms and the feet for support. Once more, and we'll keep those hips up and pulse, ever so slightly lowering that pelvis down and lifting it right back up. Staying strong. Keep those hips up and hold. Breathe. And mindfully guide the hips down onto the mat. Well done. Placing the palms on the knees, we'll find a spinal stretch. Exhale, curl and round, chin to chest. And again, spinal extension and flexion. Once more. Breathing through any tension. And from here, we'll get set up to either take the same variation or we'll come into a reverse tabletop plank with our legs extended. Affording yourself a moment to ensure you have enough space on the mat, raising the hips, and maybe extending the legs out in front. One option is to ground down through the heels, having the feet flexed, or if it's in your practice, allowing the entire sole of the foot to rest on the mat, and we'll begin to lower the hips and raise them. Keeping the body strong, using the whole posterior chain here to lift and lower with control. How high can you raise those hips? A few more lifts. And we'll stay up and hold. Lift the pelvis a little higher. Ground down through the feet. And release. Well done. Again, we'll come into the spinal extension and flexions. Finding a gentle massage for the back. Well done. We will set up for reverse plank one last time. You've got this. Finding any variation that works for you, maybe playing around with the hand positioning and either taking the variation with bent knees, or you might like to try extended legs this time, Raise the hips, perhaps staying here, or gently guiding one leg out at a time, keeping the medial edges of the feet, the ankles connected to one another, squeezing the inner thighs, the glutes, keeping everything turned on. Breathe. If it's too much, you might like to ground down through the heels and have the feet flexed. One more breath and lower down. Well done. Pausing in Skandasana for a moment, finding length through the vertebral column. And we'll scoot forward onto the mat as we begin to roll down onto our backs, one vertebra at a time, engaging the core. Walking the feet closer to the glutes. Heels are underneath the knees. You might like to place one palm on the belly, the other on the heart space, offering yourself a moment to reconnect with the breath. Arrive in this moment. From here, we'll set up for Baddha Konasana bridge lifts. Soles of the feet are touching, knees are flexed, splayed wide, grounding down through the palms. Or you might like to flex the elbows, having the fingertips facing skywards. We'll begin to slowly lift the glutes, the lower back, the mid-back, and lower down with control. And again, all the while keeping those knees wide, grounding down through the blade edges of the feet. We're really working the outer hips, the glutes, as well as the inner thighs here. Staying strong, moving with intention. Picking up the tempo a little bit, lift and lower, lift and lower. Once more, and we'll keep our hips up and pulse. Small pulses. How high can you lift that pelvis? You might like to extend your arms skywards, palms facing towards one another. Arms are in line with the shoulders. Soften the muscles of the face. Hold. Raise the hips a little higher. Squeeze the back body a little more. Stay strong. Maybe invite a smile onto the lips. You've got this. And lower down. Well done. Draw the knees to the chest. We'll find one circle in either direction. Returning the soles of the feet to the mat. And we'll set up for a supine pigeon bridge lift, creating a figure 4 with the outer edge of the right ankle on top of the left leg, grounding down through the left leg, and we'll begin to lift and lower, raising the hips, the lower back, the mid-back, squeezing the glutes, the inner thighs, and lowering down with control. This really challenges our stability, so if you need to slow down the movement at all or pause in between repetitions, know that that is okay. You always have the opportunity to jump back in and try again. Recognizing that every day is different, accepting where you are in this moment, affording yourself a loving compassion. Well done. Uncrossing the legs, and we'll take this on the other side. This time the left ankle is crossed over the right leg, and we'll begin to lift and lower those hips. You've got this. Really grounding down through that right foot, the right heel. Being mindful to ensure that that right heel is aligned with the right knee. Really doing our best to keep the hips level, keep that pelvis squared. Stay strong. This is our final bit of work. We've got this. And gently release. Well done. Draw the knees to the chest. Maybe draw the chin to the knees. And from here, we will take a supine pigeon stretch, either interlacing your fingers behind the thigh or the shin. Feeling a lovely stretch for the outer hips. Perhaps rolling the ankle in one direction and the other. Mindfully unraveling, and we'll take Supta Kaptosana on the other side. Drawing the knees to the chest one last time, we'll begin to take a rolling like a ball, massaging out the back body. Doing your best to keep the feet elevated using core engagement. And in your own time, rolling forwards, finding a comfortable seated position. Rolling the shoulders back and down. Inhale, extend the arms overhead, join the palms together. Exhale, lower the hands to heart center. Offering yourself a moment of loving compassion, recognizing the physical, mental, emotional strength that you displayed showing up here today. Thank you all so much for joining this Yogalates movement. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.